ready to start?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, we are.
If at some point you want to give like a 2 minute summary of what you've just said, that would be fantastic as well. I hadn't, there's such a wealth there. I wish that could have become a part. I just meant it as a initial conversation, but be aware your microphone is not very good. I mean, or rather the audio setup is not good. So you might want to speak into it. Okay, I'm going to start the recording, and therefore, Mr. Raja, you will start, and then Rama, are you ready?
Yeah.
Where is Rama?
I'm here.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to start the recording, and I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to mute everybody. Okay, I'm going to mute everybody. And then I'm going to start the recording now, and then I've started the recording, and Mr. Raja, it's now yours. Meeting is on. But I have to it has muted, unfortunately, the
participants.
Yeah. I go ahead. We're on.
Okay.
We're on.
Request everyone to mute themselves.
No, it's muted. Go ahead.
Hello, welcome for one more. Vimala Oak has come. Yeah. Welcome to this session. Please remember that we are still in the trial mode. This is only the third of our meetings, and we have, as we have seen today, because of Zoom itself trying to make improvements, we have these small glitches coming in. But we shall continue. We shall continue with Zoom for some more time, and that's how it is. If for any reason, and I hope that won't happen, there is any power tripping, then you will have to reconnect, putting in, if necessary, the meeting ID. Now, let me welcome Mrs. Vrinda Ramanan and Mr. Ramanan. It's a great pleasure to have you here with us, and you're joining us from Trichy. First time that we get a speaker joining us from outside Bangalore, and it's a fascinating subject. I won't take up your time. They come to us courtesy Rama, and therefore I shall request Rama to introduce them on behalf of all of us. Rama?
Yeah. It gives me, she says, mountaineering, climbing, trekking, hiking are sports that do not play by specific rules and regulations or play to an audience. Am I clear?
Very
right?
clear.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Every trek is different, and every trek is a self-discovery, is how Vrinda has introduced herself. Who better to talk to us about this than the couple, Vrinda and Ramanan? Vrinda is a Bharatanatyam dancer, while Ramanan is an architect. So what is it that brought them both together? The love of the mountains and, of course, photography. They've spent more than 45 years trekking the Western Ghats and the Himalayas. Now, Ramanan is an avid photographer. So whatever we see today on the screen is all the handiwork of Mr. Ramanan. They have brought out coffee table books on the Sri Rangam temple, our famous Tirupati, and are now working on the mountains of our destiny. You know, I can vouch how beautiful it is, because I've taken a look at the book on Sri Rangam, and my God, every single photograph seems to be talking to you. And their presentation on the Himalayas or on Sri Rangam is really music for both your ears and for your eyes. Welcome, Vrinda and Ramanan, and we hope we'll have more and more sessions with you. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation. Over to you, Vrinda and Ramanan.
Good evening to all of you. We are very happy to be presenting our slides to the Adishri community. And thank you, Rama, for that perfect introduction. If adventure has a final and all-embracing motive, it is surely this. We go out because it's in our nature to go out, to climb the mountains and sail the seas, to fly to the planets and plunge into the depths of the oceans. By doing these things, we make touch with something outside and beyond, which strangely seems to approve our doing them. We extend our horizon, we expand our being, we revel in the mastery of ourselves, which gives us an impression, purely illusory, that we are the masters of our world. In a word, simply put, we are men. And when man ceases to do these things, he is no longer man. So this is one reason, I think, why we climb mountains and why we go to the mountains again and again. See, mountaineering and trekking are two sports, but with a difference. The players do not perform to a gallery, and the climber is the player and the spectator. It's more a journey into self-discovery. Every person has something to gain from the mountains. The geologist, the zoologist, the botanist, the anthropologist, a painter, a photographer, and the spiritual seeker who is in search of truth. So the sheer joy of being one with nature is the outcome of this climbing experience. Yes, Ramanan.
I'm sure most of you remember there was a great mountaineer in the 1920s. His name was George Lee Mallory, British climber. So people always used to ask him, why do you climb mountains? And he was so fed up. He said, because it is there. So why do we climb mountains? He gave a nice answer. Because it is there inherent within us that joy. What we get from climbing or trekking is the joy. Joy is actually is the end of our life. We don't live to eat. We eat to live so that we can enjoy life. So the basic question a lot of people have asked me, what is trekking and what is mountaineering? What is the difference? So trekking is just hiking up a slope. It may be a small hill. It could be a hill in Coorg or Western Ghats where you don't use any technical equipment. So trekking or hiking is just simply walk on some terrain, maybe for a day or two, and maybe even for a week. You establish tents and then you enjoy and you reach some place. Your trekking is basically just walking up a hill. So when you go on a trek from Coorg to some Western Ghats small peak, you don't say, I'm doing mountaineering. That's not mountaineering. That is basically trekking. Then what is mountaineering? Where the trek ends and then you come across a massive peak, a granite wall or a peak, an ice slope, where you use ropes and technical gadgets like carabiner, ascenders, figure of 8, crampons, pitons. With all these things, when you go up, then that is mountaineering. So we used to feel, some people say, 500 feet small hillock, and they say, we did mountaineering in Kollimalai. That's not mountaineering. That's basically trekking. That is walking up. So today's slide, we will be showing you 2 treks. Treks, you can do it in varieties of terrain. It can be on snow, it can be on slushy mud, it may be on ice. And we are also showing you a lot of climbing pictures, but I'm not showing too many of technical climbs where it may be a bit frightening. So the trekking and climbing pictures we are going to show. And before that, I also want to talk about whether it is dangerous. A lot of people have asked me, is it very dangerous? I have seen, climbing people falling into crevasse. Recently there was a trekking group 2 years back. If you remember, they went to some place near Theni, and then there was a huge forest fire and 20 of them perished. So the trekking and climbing, is it dangerous? See, any sports for that matter, whether it is cricket or football, there is a bit of inherent risk is there. When you face a fast bowler like Hall or somebody, you always can get hit. And the same way in trekking and climbing also, there is a bit of risk is there, but it is calculated risk. Without pain, there is no gain. So a bit of risk is involved, but this can be classified as two, these risks. One is called the subjective hazard, and the other one is objective hazard. Subjective hazard means you have to be fit, whether it is trekking or mountaineering, you should be fit, thoroughly you should be fit. You should not have any heart problems, any problem with your kidney or whatever it is. Objective hazard is also while going up, you may, if patient or if you don't acclimatize, especially when you go up on the Himalaya, your body reacts because of the cold, because of the low pressure, less oxygen. So your body takes some time to acclimatize. That is, you are in sea level condition, and when you go to high altitude, say Gangotri or Gomukh and above 8,000, 9,000 feet, your body should slowly get acclimatized. How it gets acclimatized is a different thing. You'll have to go slowly. Then your body gets used to that altitude. So if you don't get acclimatized, then you may get into some medical issues, high altitude pulmonary edema, things like that. And the subjective hazard is basically personal. It involves the personal thing, the climber or the trekker, which can be controlled. If you drink a lot of fluids, if you take certain medicines like Diamox and all that, some of these subjective hazards can be overcome. Sometimes when you go on a very, very long trek or difficult climb, physically you will become unfit. Physically you will become so tired. You must have heard of so many people in the Hillary step in the Everest, due to exhaustion, they die because they have crossed that physical endurance level, and then they take too much of risk. So, but the subjective hazard can be controlled if you plan it properly, if you know your limitation. But objective hazard is something like a blizzard, something like an avalanche, or something like a stone fall in a mountain, which you have no control at all. So that also can be planned. You should know the season. You should know when. If you go during the monsoon season, definitely there will be floods. There will be, river and spate. So once you plan, and then once you understand, and then once you go, some of these objective hazards can be overcome. But then objective hazards cannot be. You cannot predict. In 2017 or 16, we were in Green Lake. Right at the foot of Kanchenjunga. 2009. We have some slides.
10 or 11.
During that time, we were right at the foot of Kanchenjunga. Very difficult. We were almost 7 days from the nearest habitation. And then suddenly there was a huge, the whole tremor was there. You remember there was a earthquake in Nepal. More than some 3,000 people died in Nepal. And we were just about, as a crow flies, we were just 20, 30 kilometers from the epicenter. And we found and while returning, the entire mountain, many places that come down. So this is an objective hazard. You have no control about it. So this is the subjective and objective hazard. Any sports has this.
We'll start with that.
Now we will start the presentation. And I'll briefly tell you what is Himalaya and what is the Western Ghats. We will leave Western Ghats. Probably we will give you another seminar on Western Ghats, because again 40 years we have spent a lot of time in Western Ghats. Western Ghats is completely different. Himalaya, as you know, from Arunachal Pradesh, that is the northeastern Isanya Moolam of India, you have Arunachal Pradesh. That's where the Himalaya starts. There is a very beautiful peak there called Namche Barwa, and it has a sister peak called Gyalapuri. And Brahmaputra takes a huge bend. We will be showing you that. From Namche Barwa in Arunachal Pradesh, it continues as a huge arc. It goes to Assam, Himalaya. Then you have Bhutan, you have Sikkim, then you have Nepal, then you have Kumaon, you have Garhwal, then you have Himachal Pradesh, then Kashmir. It's a huge arc. If you can bring the map of India in your mind, you have a huge from Arunachal Pradesh to Kashmir. Then Kashmir, there's a peak called Nanga Parbat. There it takes a bend and goes northward, and it continues. That stretch of mountain, a parallel mountain range, it's called the Karakoram. In Karakoram, you have several beautiful peaks. Of course, most of the Karakoram is in Pakistan now, occupied Pakistan and Pakistan. K2, Karakoram 2. K2 is the world's second highest peak. And there are Gasharpuram, Masharpuram, Kankadia glaciers are there, where unfortunately we can't go. And in the Himalaya, main Himalaya itself, we have Everest, you have Nanda Devi, you have Kanchenjunga, so many beautiful peaks. And we are concentrating only on the Indian Himalaya. We are not talking about Nepal or Bhutan, but basically Indian Himalaya only. So beyond the Himalaya is a thin 400 to 300 kilometers width, but 2,500 kilometers long. Beyond that lies a huge plateau which is called the Tibet. It used to be an independent country, and you know the story of Tibet, how China swallowed it. Now we'll start the slideshow.
Yes. Yes. So this one is, this trek is from the northeastern end of the Himalayas in the Pemako region of Arunachal Pradesh, where the Himalayan mountains begin. So Arunachal Pradesh lies on the true right bank of the river Brahmaputra. This was the exciting boat ride that we took. You can see the car and everything on the boat. And we went on this boat to the nearest town of Pasighat, from where our foray into the Pemako region started.
Now, Modi government had built a bridge over this. You don't have to cross Brahmaputra by boat anymore.
This is a mighty 2,900 kilometers long river Brahmaputra, which is the lifeline of the people of Arunachal Pradesh. It has a great social impact on the people of this place. And traveling from Pasighat, we encountered many landslides, mudslides, and slushy roads, and it was overflowing nalas. If you see you can. There was absolutely the road was washed away.
Because unlike Garhwal or Kumaon, where you have the Shivalik or the lower hills, which blocks the monsoon, Arunachal Pradesh has
is open to the monsoon.
It's open. So during northwest and southwest and northeast monsoon, throughout the year it gets rain. So all the time there will be landslides.
Actually, while planning a trek in this area, you have to have as many buffer days as you have as the trek is planned, because you will not know it will be eating on your trekking schedule. The landslides and all that. It will be eating on your trekking schedule, and there are groups which have not properly planned and they've just gone back without even taking the first step. So you can see this overflowing nala.
There will be several
nalas like this. And so we reached the next place after a night's stay at Jenging. We reached a place called Tuting, from where the roadhead begins. That is, the trekking starts from there. And this is the Upper Siang Valley, which always conjures dreamy images of rain-fed, lush, evergreen forests with plenty of, beautiful flora and fauna, vibrant wildlife and unusual plant life. And it is Siang that becomes the Brahmaputra, because the Yarlang Sangpo starts from Tibet. It comes into India as Siang, and then at Assam it becomes Brahmaputra. It flows as Brahmaputra. So this is the Siang River. You can see we walked along this river, this meandering river. We walked along it in this valley. Then we crossed Siang. Crossing the river Siang is very interesting, because everywhere they have bridges built like this. And these bridges are quite perilous because most of the bottom, if you look at the bottom, they're all those bamboo logs sometimes will be missing or they'll be broken. And there are some on which people will be taking their motorbikes also across. That's really, really dangerous, and it's several hundred feet away from above the river. Yes, and it's about half a kilometer across the river. So it was a perilous hanging bridge, and it's made of rattans, stems and creepers and some iron rods and all mixed up together. This is the Doni Polo, temple of Doni Polo. The Apatanis, the Adis, the Nishis, the tribals there, the Gelongs, they all pray to nature and to the sun and the moon, and called the Doni Polo. Doni Polo is the religion they follow. The sun, moon, literally it means Doni Polo, sun, moon. And the houses here are very interesting. They are built on stilts, and the roof is made of dry leaves. Some of the houses are very big. It's like a villa. Some of the houses are like a villa. And everybody comes, joins in for construction work. Everyone, the entire village will build a house and then go on to build another house. So it's all done by themselves. They don't employ other people to do it. And the houses have a main hall, which has the hearth where they cook, they dine, they sleep, they watch TV. Everything is done in that. It's a family room completely, and they all spend time because of the rainy, the cold there. They all spend time around this hearth. And these are all our members of our team, and we have our staff also sitting along with us, warming ourselves. It was a homestay, and it was a very beautiful. It was a great experience. And see, even here you have people sitting. You saw the stilts, the houses built on stilts. In the lower portion, they have their poultry, the pigs, and their cattle, and everything is kept below. And the place is extremely clean, extremely neat. I've never seen any place as clean as Arunachal Pradesh. Arunachal Pradesh is a great state, very clean state, lovely rice. And they are green chili. The hottest green chili is found there. It can feed an entire army. A small one chili can feed an entire army, they say. It's called Bhoot Jalota. It's called Bhoot Jalota. So it is so, even when I think of it, my eyes are burning. It's so hot. And the Adis are the landlords of these woodlands. And here you see, they have all the rights to hunting. So, and their only pastime is hunting. And these people, they have domesticated the mithun, which wildly roams in the forest. And it's a wild buffalo. And they have killed, they are very proudly sitting, holding the horns and the head of a wild mithun, which they have slaughtered for a feast. And the number of mithuns that these people own shows reflects on the wealth of the household. So here you see a lady who is very proudly standing in front of her house with all the mithun horns are all, these are, down generations they come and they exhibit everything. So it's the number of mithuns they have had and they are still having, which form the wealth of the household. These people are a fun-loving lot. They are lovely people, hospitable, very fun-loving, and they never waste a moment. You can see old people will be, working on cane baskets, and they'll be designing canes, to walking sticks, and they'll be doing something or the other. But evenings, they will put a full stop to everything, and they'll enjoy their long, lively drinking sessions. They love their apong, and they will sit and drink for hours on end before they sleep. And they always have very decorative headgear like this person with the horns and with beads and with feathers. It's very interesting lot, very unique to their dress is very unique to their tribes. This is we start our trek. We enter the forest, which is really slushy, muddy, and we use different footwear. All our Nike and Reebok and all the climbing boots, nothing will come of use here. You have to use the rubber gum boots. And these boots are the only ones that will help protect you from the slush and from the leeches. You know, leeches will be falling from the tops of the trees onto you, and they'll also be getting into your boots. So you have to protect yourself from the leeches falling from above. I had one in my eye. I still remember how difficult it was for me to pierce it out from my eye. And again, you know, it's a real test for your mental and physical faculties, crossing these log bridges with carrying all your stuff. So this is a very interesting walking into the forest. Again, another, showing you, this slide shows you how the forest is very slushy, very difficult. 1 foot, sometimes, you know, it will go in, and to take it out, you'll have to pull it out with both your hands. It's so difficult, and it's really, really steep. Very steep, because it's a rainforest and the sun seldom gets inside. This is our campsite, the first site camp. It was called the site camp. It was called site camp. There are sheds like this. Now, this area is called the Bayul of the Pemako region is considered very holy by the Tibetans, the Buddhists, and many of them come once a year during summer to Danakosha and to Chittapuri to make the Danakosha lake and the Chittapuri, which is here, and they make a circumambulation here.
Bayul means when there is a Holocaust in the world, Buddhist believe that is the Vajra, what's his name? Padmasambhava, Vajra Guru. He had indicated there will be some places in the planet which will not be affected. That's called a Bayul, or Shangri-La. You can call it Shangri-La. So Pemako is a Bayul.
And this again shows you how thick the forests can be, and you really have to make your way through. See,
the rainforest.
The rainforest with all the lichens on top of the trees, on the bark. This was our second camp. It was a campsite. It was called Mabi. So from Mabi, we couldn't, every campsite we had to encounter severe rain and slush. So it was very difficult for us. We had to wait at every campsite for nearly 2-3 days. This is Lama Kukut, our final campsite. And Lama Kukut, it's from Lama Kukut that you can see the two peaks of Namche Barwa and the Gyalaperi, which are supposed to be the breasts of the sleeping Phangje Dharma. Phangje Dharma is the goddess of those parts, and they venerate these two mountains. Both the mountains are over 7,000 meters, and it's extremely beautiful. We had to wait for nearly 5 days before we could get a sighting of these mountains.
I'll just tell the importance of Namche Barwa and Gyalaperi. As she said, Brahmaputra or Sangpo.
Yes.
Sangpo river
Yarlang
Sangpo starts from Kailash, and it travels almost 1,200 kilometers east, and that takes a huge bend. It's called the Brahmaputra bend. That bend is 300 kilometers, world's mightiest gorge. It is ranked as number 1. 2 is the US Grand Canyon. In some places, it is 17,000 feet vertical wall. In between that, the Brahmaputra takes a bend, 300 kilometers bend. And then it becomes, when it comes to Arunachal Pradesh, it is called Siam. Then it comes down to Pasighat and other places, it becomes Brahmaputra. So we are there, we are going to see those two peaks.
Yes.
Namche Barwa and Gyalaperi.
And now, with a small diversion, these people, the Adis, their only pastime, as I told you, is hunting. So they hunt down whether they have no idea what is endangered species, they have no idea what they should bring down, absolutely no idea at all. They use catapults, and they use their guns, rifles. And they always roam around the forest, and then with catapults, they'll bring down birds in minutes. So I remember Ramanan and I, when we were walking with these Arunachalis, I would, if a bird chirps, I would mentally request the bird, just keep quiet, don't chirp, because immediately this guy, will run behind, and their targeting is so good that they will bring down the bird in minutes, and immediately make a fire and eat it on the spot. So,
Brinda,
yes.
I'm sorry, just a technical interruption. Many of your slides aren't showing up. I have no idea why. On my screen, we're still frozen on the guy with a rifle.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, it's there. Yes, I'm not, yes. Now can you see the next one?
For me, it's still the guy with the rifle.
No, I've just moved to the next one.
There's a trap. Can you see a trap?
It's
No.
a trap.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
They got so these are traps used
No,
by the
it hasn't gone.
army.
I haven't been able to see the next one.
The trap?
Yeah, I'm still seeing the guy with the rifle. Now I've got it. Okay.
We may have to, Brinda, I think we should request the others to keep quiet. Bharat can do the talking. I think the others will mute, please.
Right. So go ahead. We'll do the best we can. Go ahead. Now there's some kind of a marmot or some kind of a squirrel.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So, they set very ingenious locally made traps and catch all these animals. Like the one you saw, huge ones, huge traps for bigger animals and small traps for the smaller ones. And here you can see birds and big animals like this. It's very sad the Adivasis don't know that they are this practice of killing animals like at this rate is going to cause a lot of ecological imbalance, and it's going to adversely affect them, and they have to be educated about it. Yes. So this is, see, just close to Lama Kukut, we heard a whoosh sound, and when we went there, we saw this beautiful streak of white tumbling down. And these are the Lara Luri Falls. It's called the Lara Luri Falls. The waters join the Siang. And this is our group which waited for 5 days to get a darshan of Namche Barwa and Gyalaperi. And then finally, the clouds lifted, the mist parted, the rain stopped, and we got a beautiful darshan of Namche Barwa and Gyalaperi. You can see the whole range of mountains.
This is actually China. Namche Barwa and Gyalaperi is in China.
Yeah, they claim it's theirs.
Because the McMahon line is just
close by. The McMahon line, yes. And you have the Kangra Kangpo, which is the Snow White mountain, the Gyalaperi and the Namche Barwa. So this was our peak into the Pamako. And the Pamako region being as holy as it is, the gods were kind enough to, help us take pictures, take photographs of these mountains. So now we take you, the next Ramanan will be taking you on a trek to the northwestern part, and it will be a totally different experience over to Ramanan.
So from northeast, where there is slush, rainforest, leeches, snakes, and all kinds of animals while trekking, now we are going to Kashmir. This we did last August. When we completed this trek, within 2 days, Article 371 was abolished, and luckily we came back home safely. So this is Nigin Lake. Before starting our trek, we stayed in Nigin Lake. This is in Srinagar. For 2 days in this beautiful houseboat. You can see the people of, you saw the people of Arunachal Pradesh. Now you are seeing people of Kashmir. He's our chef. Next. So we are going to a frozen lake called Barafsar, which is almost at 16,000 feet. And you have to go to a place called Baltal. Most of you must have heard of Baltal. When you go to Amarnath, you go to Baltal. Some people go by helicopter from there. So from Sonamarg, we have to go to a place called Sarbal, a village very close to Baltal. Then from there, our trek starts. And this is a small rivulet,
Sarbal Nalla.
Sarbal Nalla. We'll have to cross on boulders, two wooden logs, which will keep shaking like this. When I did this, I was 68 years old. If you slip and fall, you will be washed off. Next. And this is called the Durinar Meadow. Gujars, Gujars, these Muslim Gujars, shepherds, they go there during the summer, and you can see some beautiful snow-capped peaks. They are called Crystal Peaks and Whalehead and so many other peaks. So this is our first campsite, which is called Durinar Meadow. You can see a beautiful meadow. You can see our campsite. Here, gumboot is not necessary. You require boots which will take you on snow and ice. So this is a different terrain. You can see the summer snow there, which has fallen as avalanche. It's a frozen snow on which the shepherd is going. Next. That's our campsite. Now we are going up. In some places, we have to use rope and carabiners and ice axe and all that, because when you go up, there will be a lot of snow and ice. Next. So that evening, there was a beautiful rain,
Shower.
and after that, there was a nice rainbow. So there are 3 lakes in this area. This is called Durinar Lake. You can see it is half frozen, and some of our guys, they had a dip there. It was very cold, and it's a secret lake surrounded by granite spires. The night sky, when it opens, you can see the entire arm, the Orion arm of the Milky Way. You can see some of the galaxies, some of the stars, and you can also see the tents, our tents. And our next campsite was just below the next lake, which is called the Neelnag Lake, and it started snowing, and we had to pitch the tent on snow. This is our next campsite. This is right in front of the Neelnag. Again, it is frozen. If you go in August, September, the water will be completely turquoise blue, but right now it was frozen. That's the lake, half frozen lake, and we have to still go up for Barafsar. So this is our final campsite. From there, we go to Barafsar frozen lake, and these 2 guys are looking towards Zojila. If you remember the terrain there, Zojila, from Srinagar, if you go to Ladakh to Leh, you have to cross Zojila. So your seat at Zojila Bend there, they're looking towards Zojila. We are still going up, and these are hard snow. This is not ice, this is hard snow, but it will be slippery. But you can walk up, you don't require, this is partly trekking. In places on the Skyline Ridge, it's all ice. So there we fixed ropes, and then you have to go up. Next. So our group, ideally 10 to 12 people, not more than that, will be manageable. We are going up. So this is the Barafsar frozen lake. Completely, it's a huge lake, but then mostly it is all frozen, and that rocky peak is the highest peak in Kashmir, which is called Kolahai. From this place, there is a pass called, this place is 16,000 feet. From here, you can go down to the other side, and you can reach Amarnath actually. But we didn't do that because it was too slippery and too much of snow and sleet and all that. So we came back the same way, blizzarding, that is sliding down on the snow. We came back to Barafsar. So you saw Arunachal Pradesh, where the Himalaya starts. Now this is the place where Himalaya ends, and then Karakoram starts. In between, we will also take you on different smaller treks, but these are only photographs. They are not full treks because it requires a lot of time.
Yeah.
So some of these images are from our book. So this is a beautiful stream. It's a slow shutter speed image, and you can, that's Primula flower, and you see rhododendron. This is in Sikkim. We are on a trek to Gochala.
We did 2 treks, one to Goichala and one to the Green Lake.
Green Lake, this is the Kanchenjunga National Park.
Kanchenjunga National Park, and it has some 42 varieties of rhododendrons. You must be knowing of, you must have heard of rhododendrons. In Kodaikanal, there are many of them.
One or two.
Yes. So these are rhododendrons. There are 42 varieties, different colored, multi-hued ones. White also you have.
Rhododendron arboreum.
Yeah. These are orchids. There
Wild
are rare
orchids.
wild orchids.
Slipper.
Yeah. And this is the cobra lily, the
Arizoma graffiti.
Arisima graffiti, and the cobra lily, which has a serpent-like head.
Looks like Vinayaga. Just have a look at it.
Yes.
The cobra lily.
The cobra lily, its tentacles, if you see, grows very long and it winds itself up on many meters on other trees. These are paths that you see, that you walk through, trekking paths. And sometimes, you know, you can't believe yourself. You have to pinch yourself to, many a time I've pinched myself. I wouldn't be surprised, you know, I would expect maybe some ethereal being to come from, being from another world to come in to encounter somebody like that. It was so beautiful. See the path. These are trails made by our ancestors. And every pass has many prayer flags like this put on by the Buddhists. In the background, you see Kanchenjunga. And these flags are, you know, carry the vibrations, carry prayers all over. Can you hear us?
Very well.
Yes. Yeah. This is our group that came, some of them from Delhi, Trichy, Chennai, a mixed group, and our staff too.
This is our club flag.
Yeah, we have a club called the Science and Adventure Club. And these are some of the campsites. You know, we camped on, these are our tents, small compact tents, which will keep you very, very warm.
You can see a toilet tent there. People always ask, how do you go to toilet? We men go out, hide behind some rock and do the job. But for the ladies, that yellow tent is there. You can use it as a toilet. Some of our campsites.
Some of them are very uneven terrain. So you'll have right in the middle of your back, you'll find one stone rock jutting up. So the whole night's sleep is gone because of that. So this again is the terrain and the place where we camped.
16,000 feet.
Yes, this was close to the Zemu Glacier, 16,045 feet. Yeah. This was another, you know, sometimes when we go to the campsite, it's like this. And the next morning, it's completely covered with snow. So every minute, the weather keeps changing on the mountains. This was our final spot from where we could see Kanchenjunga and Sinyolchu in the background. This again. Pandim Peak, right? Pandim.
This is Kanchenjunga.
This
early
is
morning. 4:30 in the morning. It becomes gold.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
The main peaks of Kanchenjunga you can see, and there is a depression that's called the Nepal Gap. If you cross it, you can go to Nepal. And on the extreme right side, you see a peak called Sugarloaf Peak. These are all about 28,000 feet.
This is Mount Sinyolchu, supposed to be the most, it's rated as the most beautiful peak in the whole world. It's the Aishwarya Rai, yes, among mountains, and architectural marvel, so they call it, yes. This again is from the same trek.
Behind is
Kanchenjunga.
Sugarloaf.
These are the Sugarloaf and tent peaks that we saw
and
from
there. You can see
there.
some of our guys standing there, and
you know, you can, yes, you can see the scale, how big the mountain is and how small we are. The night skies are very, very interesting. On the mountains, they open up a galaxy of stars, and it's beautiful. Yes.
You can't get city lights will
disturb.
You won't see. This is the Zemu Glacier on which we pitched our tents. Glacier is a slow moving river.
Ice. Yeah,
river of ice.
River of ice.
So this is mountaineering.
Yeah. In such paths, you need to have some knowledge of technical climb, using ropes and
Ice
ice axes,
Here you have pitons. That is, if you see the shoe, it will have spikes.
crampons.
Crampons.
Yeah.
This is again Kanchenjunga from the other side. We saw Kanchenjunga from Green Lake. This is Kanchenjunga
From the Goichala Pass.
Goichala. There's another. We made 2 trips. This Green Lake is right behind the other side.
Yes.
Now we are
On this side. This
On
is
this
the Jamatang Plains through which we reached the Goichala. This was
You can see
on, yes, this was on Ramanans. Ramanan was part of the pre-Everest expedition to Kabrudo, and this was taken on one of those expeditions.
So that's the difference between climbing and trekking. That's you need climbing techniques to reach such places.
So that was, you saw 3 treks now. They were on slushy terrain, then on snow, and then in between the 2 Green Lake and lovely forest trails. Now I'm taking you on to another extreme trek, which is called the Chadar, and it is on the frozen river. Now
You have to walk on frozen river.
Yes. The
120 kilometers you got to walk.
Yeah. And this river, it is both ways. You go one way and then come back. It's about 120 kilometers. And it's an amazing trek.
And night temperature will be -40.
Yes. So this is, you come across many such frozen waterfalls, and very close by the water would have, will be melting. The snows will be melting, and it will be a
and you have to walk
river
on
of
those
ice.
small stretch.
Yes, here you can see like lotus flowers. They are all moving around.
Frozen ice.
This is a Nyarak waterfall. We have seen this river very boisterous and very, very dangerous during summer. And to see it like this, tranquil, calm, frozen during winter. And this is the only way the locals commute. They don't have any other way to commute.
This is in Zanskar.
Yes, for
Zanskar,
us.
Ladakh.
For us, it's an adventure. For the locals, it is their way of life. They commute only on this. This again very close to the river, partly frozen. Every minute, the landscape keeps changing in this part. According to the sun, the coming in of the sun and the going, you will find the change.
So from Ladakh, Zanskar, we are coming to Garhwal. This is called Bandarpunj Peak.
Garhwal is the holy, where you have the Char Dham, Garhwal, Kumaon. So that's the area.
Hardwar Rishikesh is gateway to Garhwal.
Yeah.
This is a beautiful peak called Bandarpunj. Hanuman's Trail.
Yes. This again.
This is some 3,000-4,000 feet above
Gangotri.
No.
Yes, which one is?
Badrinath.
Oh yes, we are now seeing. We'll be seeing Nilkant from here.
Very close.
By.
Behind the Badrinath temple, you will see a beautiful peak. Now we are going to that peak, and this is Alaknanda.
The river is Alaknanda. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You see the
Nilkant peak.
And the Alaknanda in the upper valleys is a night shot, so it looks ethereal. This is Gangotri temple.
Many of you would have gone here.
You can see the Gangotri temple behind.
Also behind.
This is a night shot. You can see the star trail behind. The river is.
To those who have struggled with the mountains, and the mountains reveal beauties that they will not disclose to those who have not made any effort. So this is the reward mountains give to effort. And it is because they have so much that they give it so lavishly to those who will wrestle with them, that men love the mountains and go back to them again and again. The mountains reserve their choicest gifts for those who stand upon their summits. I am always reminded of this quote when I see this particular picture, so I wanted to share it with you all. This is Shivling, a very beautiful mountain.
You must have heard of Tapovan Maharaj. Tapovan Maharaj was the guru of Chinmayanand. Yeah. So Tapovan, he used to do Upon Maharaj,
penance
give
here,
penance
meditate.
here.
Yeah.
And that peak is called Shivling. And in the foreground, you see blue sheep. They are wild goats.
Blue sheep, yes.
Baral, they are not domesticated. This is Gomukh. Many of you would have heard of Gomukh. That is the birth spot of the river Bhagirathi. You can see
Bhagirathi Ganga, yes.
And Gomukh, Go means Pashu. Mukh is face. So Ganga is supposed to come out of a cow's mouth. Now you can see Bhagirathi 2 and Bhagirathi 3. Two
They
peaks
form
there.
the horns.
It looks like a horn, and you can see the mouth through which Ganga comes out.
This is a star trail, and our tents on Nandanvan. On Nandanvan.
This is again 16,000 feet.
And you can see the beautiful Shivling mountain. And I must tell you that I climbed the baby Shivling, the smaller one there. I climbed it when I was 18 years old. So it brings back a lot of memories.
This is Nanda Devi.
Nanda
Very
Devi,
famous
yes.
Nanda Devi peak. You must have all heard of Nanda Devi and her sister Sunanda Devi. Nanda Devi and Sunanda Devi. Nanda Devi was the highest peak in India before
Sikkim joined
became
us.
part of India. Then
Yes.
Kanchenjunga became the highest peak in India. Now Nanda Devi is second highest peak. So again, Nanda Devi. Nanda Devi is 25,700 and odd feet. This is Trishul peak. You can see 3 peaks like a Trishul.
Yeah.
Shiva's Trishul. The same Trishul when we go, this is at 16,000 feet, and you can see the snow being blown away from the summit.
A plume. Yeah, the snow plume.
That plume it is almost 1 kilometer. It is blown away. You can see the scale. You can see 2 people, 2 of our members on the right hand side, and this place is about 15,000 feet, and the summit of Trishul is 23,800 feet. So the scale difference is almost 8,000 feet, and you may think you can climb it in one day. It takes 1 month to climb that distance. And this is Gangotri Glacier, Shivling, Kedarnath Parbat. On the left side is Kedarnath Parbat. The Kedarnath temple is on the other side.
Other side.
We are at the back of, we are on the Gangotri Glacier. This is Nilkant Peak, the famous peak what you see from Badrinath temple. And we are at the foot of
the Nilkant
Peak. These are the Bugyals.
The Bugyals, the meadows, which, whenever I walk on on these Bugyals, I always wonder, for whom are these, pretty flowers blooming for? For whom are they there? So that, was the inspiration for me to write a small poem, which I will read to you, written by me. The little flowers with petals so soft and silky stand on strong stalks trembling in the cold breeze. Rain or wild winds, snow or storm, no force can uproot these petite beauties. They stand upright in any weather, an example of quiet strength. So they are amazing. They are amazing. This is the Brahma Kamal, which is used as an offering. They bloom only during between July, August.
At 15,000 feet.
Yeah, and people climb all the way, come to 15,000 feet, collect these flowers to offer it to Kedar and Kedarnath, Badrinath and all. This is the Fen Kamal. And
Sasuri.
Yeah, it is supposed to be it is believed to be the Sanjeevani flower.
This is the one which revived Rama.
Rama,
Lakshmana.
yes.
That's what Baba Ramdev claims.
They're doing some research. Yes, they're doing some research on it. This is Sri Kanta. I was part of this. This is an all-women's expedition in which I went as a both of us were participated.
You can see those dots are
those dots are the climbers, and
it's all fixed rope. They are not just walking; they are holding
on to ropes and walking up. Yes. This is the famous Manasarovar river. We are just taking you to Kailash, because Kailash, though is not a part of the Indian Himalaya, we thought Himalaya always, people connect it with Kailash. So we thought we'd also take you on this. This is Manasarovar and some geese. Bar-headed geese. This is a face of Dakshinamurti, the southern face of Kailash, and you see Nandi in front. This again is Manasarovar.
You can see the Kailash peak behind.
This is the Manasarovar Lake again.
These peaks are called Gurla Mandata. Some of you might have gone to Kailash.
And
This
you would
is
have
the
seen
southern
this.
face of Kailash. And those rocky stuff, what you see is called, in mountaineering terminology, it's called a couloir. But people say it looks like a vertebra, and you can see a face.
Spine of
the Kundalini.
Yeah,
and you can see a kind of face on top with two eyes, a mouth, and the vertebra.
Yes. There are many marmots in. This is another face of the
Dirapuk.
From Dirapuk, and you'll see many marmots. These are very endearing creatures, and who go into hibernation during winter, and then during summer they just come out, and there are hundreds of them, and they'll keep going in and out of their burrows. Very beautiful animals, rodents they are. This is the beautiful Dakshinamurti face. You can see the fall of snow, which forms the Atmalinga down. And it's a very beautiful, very breathtaking.
We did inner parikrama. So there are two inner parikramas. One is called Tandro Sanglam Pass. You have to cross the secret Dakini's Pass.
The path of the secret Dakini.
And this is the Nandi parikrama. So this is we can go and touch Kailash itself, that rock. You can go there.
Yeah. This is the people of the Himalaya. Here you see some young Buddhist Lama boys. Yeah.
Very fun-loving.
Very fun-loving. And this is supposed to be a tulku. A tulku is a person who is an incarnate, who is the reincarnate of a master, of a guru. Yeah. These are Dads or Drokpas from who live from the Dahanu Valley. And they live on the banks of the river Indus, and they believe that they are of pure Aryan origin, and they are the descendants of Alexander. They have aquiline noses, very different from the other Himalayan people. They have blue eyes, very beautiful, tall, very beautiful, and they are tepis, which they are topis, which they call tepi. It's full of flowers, everlasting dry flowers. They decorate they are such lovely people.
They are, when Alexander the Great, when he was defeated by Porus, he went back to Greece. Some of his soldiers, they stayed back in India. They said, we can't walk back. And they are spread in some parts of Himalaya. And you can see they are pure Aryans. They don't look like Mongolian features. They have sharp nose. So they're supposed to be pure Aryan clan. This is
their kitchen, which is the most important area in their houses because it gives warmth. They spend all their time here. These are the Changpas. They are nomads, and they are more Tibetans from Tibet, and their wealth is their pashmina, their sheep, and they are lovely people. They just wander around throughout the year looking for pastures for their cattle. Again, a father and a child. This is the frozen river Sokar, and I'm just lying on it.
Somoriri.
Yeah, sorry, Somoriri, and I'm just lying on it. And you can
like a carom board.
You can slip through on this on the top of this frozen lake. It's so icy.
Where she is lying down, the water depth is 300 feet, but it's all ice.
It's all ice. It's frozen. This is to give you a glimpse of the festivals of the Himalaya. This is from the Trans-Himalaya, and this is the Tibetan festival that ushers in the New Year. It's called the Dosmoshe. Ushers in the New Year and wipes out all negativity and all evil, annihilates evil. So it's called the Festival of the Scapegoat. This is from a monastery, a monk inside the monastery. This is from the Tikse monastery, a beautiful Buddha.
Future
Buddha, yes.
Brenda,
yes.
It's been really, really fascinating. I hate to even come in, but we've spoken for about an hour. Do you think that we can sort of bring it to a very gentle close in a few minutes? And we'd also like people to ask, I'm sure people want questions. And
we have just 2 slides.
Please. I'm very apologetic for even interrupting. It's been beautiful, but yeah, please go ahead. Yeah.
So this is from the Tabo monastery. It's called the Ajanta of the Himalaya. And you can see, yeah, all the wrathful deities and the Shanta ones, the calm ones. And they are all made of, you know, they are stucco. Yeah. This again is from
The night sky.
the night sky. And I think all of us should dream. Dreams become reality in our lives. So all of us should dream to go to the mountains, because it is the mountains that, you know, bring life. This is our last slide. So we've been climbing for the past 45 years, and many people wonder why we go back again and again, straining ourselves. So I would say my vivid and day-long consciousness of the mountain, of each other, and of the drama which me and the mountains played out at length together cannot be faithfully reproduced. I return to the hills because I remember that I've forgotten so much. The snowy realms of the mountain tops beckons the climbers to reach their summit. The adventurous venture to make their way up, setting up camps, fixing ropes, jumaring up, rappelling down, sweating and shaking, shivering and sauntering, braving the cold winds, the icy slopes and the indefatigable crevasses. And the summit once reached satisfies my thirst only for a minute. I'm ready to climb another, for the journey is more interesting than the destination. And every journey has a different experience in store for the body and the spirit. We thank Atishri community for giving us this splendid opportunity of sharing our photographs with all of you.
Thank you, Vrinda Ramanan. That was really wonderful. So I'm going to open it up for questions. As of now, everybody is muted, but each one of you can unmute yourself. So gently, feel free to ask questions. Just start unmuting. But I want to share something that Vrinda and Ramanan told us just before the meeting started, and this is a perfect mountaineering couple. So they actually met in mountaineering school and got married. And my interpretation is that Kanchanjunga and Nanda Devi together declared that the Jadagams are perfect for each other. And here we are listening to them so many decades later and so many mountaineering trips later. So go ahead, we'll throw it open. Just unmute yourself and ask questions. Okay, we'll probably all clap if we can hear this.
Yeah, at the end. Yeah, Chandran.
Lovely pictures.
Good. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Anyone else?
Excellent presentation. Yeah, this is Ajit and Vidya. This was fascinating. It's wonderful to see this. And we actually love watching these Himalayan treks on YouTube all the time. So I was wondering, Vrinda and Ramanan, do you folks have anything on YouTube?
We have the chadar. We have chadar, and then 3 days back we gave a webinar on behalf of Indian Mountaineering Foundation.
We sent it to Rama. Yeah, Rama will share it.
I'll share it with them.
Yeah.
That'll be great.
Is that on YouTube?
Yes. She sent a link, and I'll share it with all of you.
Okay.
And the chadar, I can tell you, is amazing. I mean, you're sitting there wondering, is the ice going to break, and how are they doing it? It's amazing. So we should see it.
That'll be great.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
I think Ranjini would talk about her flowers, the fascination she has for photography.
I'm totally in awe of what I've seen. I'm quite wordless. It's been a wonderful experience sharing your experiences. Thank you so much. I love the visuals. The photographs are fantastic. The flora, the fauna, the people, the mountains, just fabulous. Thank you so much for sharing your experience.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
I loved it. I loved it.
So I have a question relevant to Atashri, Vrinda and Ramanan. What is an upper age limit for going onto the mountains?
You have to be physically fit. That's it. Because there are people who are in their 70s also climbing, like, in the West,
Very
yes.
few.
Yeah.
But I'm 68, I'm still going.
Yeah.
So,
see, if you are able to walk 10 kilometers, maybe in 2 hours, 2 hours to 2.5 hours, then you are fit.
and this is no competition,
You
so
can walk
haram
in
say
your own
at
pace.
your own pace.
There's no race here. Most of the time, the distance is always measured in terms of time. A campsite from here to there, you'll be able to see it, but it may take 7 hours, 8 hours because of the terrain. So it's only the question of you are walking or trekking for 5 to 7 hours in a day.
Okay. Will you be able to lead treks for us if we are interested? We'll organize your trip to Bangalore first, and then once all this COVID thing settles down.
No, whether you like to do a Himalayan trek or a trek in the Western Ghats.
Even Western Ghats, for that matter.
Yeah.
Bharat, before we close down, can we have the couple on the main window so that we can have a good look at them?
You can do it yourself. You click on their.
Is that possible?
Yeah, it's for yourself to do. You can click on their little thumbnail and what's called pin.
That's right. And you will see them on the main screen.
Yes. You just pin that video. Click on their thumbnail.
Oh, I got them. I lost them when I did that.
I got them.
Yeah.
How is he?
Okay.
Hope they can come back.
I lost them when I did it. When I clicked on that, they disappeared.
Okay, you can.
I had a question.
There.
They're back.
Yeah, Prabhakar has a question.
Yeah, they don't need any oxygen support at this height. What height were they?
The oxygen.
You get my question?
I can't hear you.
You get my question? My question is,
I got it.
Because somebody else has to be muted. Somebody is talking. Yeah.
So your question was whether you require oxygen. Medical oxygen. The high altitude starts at 9,000 feet. So if you are going to Gangotri or Kedarnath, Badrinath, that's high altitude. Then there, once you get acclimatized, you don't require oxygen. Like that, you can go up to 24,000 feet. 24,000 to 25,000 feet. If you go slowly, stage by stage, it's called the golden rule of acclimatization. You work high and sleep low. Work high, sleep low. Like that, you keep going from lower altitude to higher altitude. Say up to 25,000 feet, you don't require supplemental oxygen. So beyond
that you need acclimatization. How long does it take for you to get used to 25,000 feet?
A month, 3 weeks to a month. At 25,000 feet, 1 month to 1.5 months. Then above 25,000 feet, it is called the dead zone, where whether you work, sleep, or sit, your tissues will start, burning, or your tissues will be eaten away. So body will get slowly, people, deteriorate. So above 25,000 feet, most of the people, mountaineers, you don't go to 25,000 feet on pilgrimage or anything. Only on a huge climbing expedition, you go to 25,000 feet on giant peaks. So above 25, 26, people, some climbers, they need oxygen, supplemental oxygen. And there are also people who have climbed Everest K2 without oxygen also. It all depends on the fitness level of the people. So up to 25,000 feet, you may not require oxygen. But for medical purpose, we take oxygen because when somebody is not acclimatized, it leads to medical complications called high altitude pulmonary edema. That is, you sink in your own fluids. The lungs gets flooded and then people die. That's called pulmonary. You must have heard of a lot of people dying in Kailash, Mansarovar, because of high altitude pulmonary edema. At that such situation, you require oxygen to save them.
At what height does the snow line start?
See, it all depends on the longitude and latitude. For example, in Srinagar is only about 5,000 feet. You get snow in winter in Srinagar, whereas Arunachal Pradesh is more, towards southern hemisphere. Here you get snow line in winter around 12,000 feet only, not 4,000. Whereas in Srinagar it is 4,000, here it is 12,000. The permanent snow line is usually about 15,000 feet.
Any impact of climate change already seen?
Yes,
Yes.
plenty.
Plenty.
Yes. When we went to the Alkapuri glacier, we found that all the small streams had dried up. So we had to return because there were no streams at all.
Water,
and we've never seen Himalaya without water. So it is frightening. It is absolutely frightening.
Some of the glaciers are melting and receding.
It's very sad.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Other questions, please?
Okay.
Any further?
If there are no questions.
Can you come back? Can you come back with something on the Western Ghats?
Yes, definitely we will.
Maybe later.
Yes.
Love to see you again.
Yes.
Western Ghats is more of animals, birds, because camping in Himalaya is something which is very safe. Unless you are in a bear country or you are in a place.
Snow leopard.
Snow leopard. Snow leopard is a very elusive. Only bears they are not found everywhere. Whereas in Western Ghats, it's impossible to camp because you will have elephants, you will have tiger, you will have leopard. So camping and trekking in Western Ghats is a different ballgame. Snakes.
Very nice. So, so you've effectively promised to come back again and give another presentation. Mr. Raja, I think we will bring this to a conclusion now.
Yeah, I think so.
6 a.m., 6 p.m. chanting. Mr. Raja?
Yeah, thank you very much, Vrinda and Ramanan. It's been absolutely fascinating. I don't know how to thank you. We really have been through an experience which I, for one, did not really expect. You've had such a long, such a sustained romance with the Himalayas, which very few of us could ever have hoped to have. And I really envy you for that. Thank you very much. We do hope to have you back sometime later on the Himalayas and on the Vindhyas also. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Bharat. Thank you, Bharat, for conducting the meeting. And Rama especially, for bringing us Ramanan and Vrinda. Thank you very much. I just want to... Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Mr. Ramanan wants to say something. Yes, Mr. Ramanan.
Yeah. So, incidentally, she's a Kannadiga.
I'm from Udupi.
Okay.
That's my father's place.
So, we've had 22 participants today. This whole thing has been recorded, and we shall play it for the others a couple of days later. We'll let you know.
We'll put it up on YouTube, but with a private link, if that's okay.
Well, I think if we continue this, we probably can have a YouTube channel, which where we can put all this. And we'll continue to have every 2 weeks. We will have our conversation. I mean, the same mode, digital mode, with top-class speakers. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm going to end. Thank you all. I'm going to end this meeting. So again, thank you everybody for participating, and Vrinda and Ramanan specifically for a wonderful, wonderful meeting. Thank you all.
Thank you.